Hi guys, welcome back to Get Uplifted. It is 2021 and I'm here with Devin Way and I'm so excited to have an awesome conversation. We need to be like co-hosting this. I'm like, we need to have more of this. This is not just a one episode. I'm gonna need more Devin. Part 2, 3, 4,
I was
5,
like,
and
how
6.
long have we been talking?
I don't even know. Oh my God. Well, it's only been an hour and a half. I'm kind of curious, like, where do you find your inspiration to choose to be positive and to share that positivity? Because I know that it's not always easy. I'm the same way. Like, I'm a performer. I smile a lot and I put on a show and I just, want to uplift others. But sometimes it's hard to like uplift yourself, And I was just kind of curious where you find the inspiration to do that.
Um, in so in others, like it really is. Like I believe that people are mirrors, for ourselves, and I believe, we didn't start off on earth. Like we came down from heaven. Like God knew us before. And so I was like, I feel like everyone I'm in contact with, I knew before.
Yeah.
And if I knew them before, that means they maybe they hold a piece of me that I've forgotten.
Mm.
Right. So if I am here on earth and I'm like lost and I'm asking God and I'm like, I feel depressed. I feel like I'm not within myself. I feel void, or like I'm hovering, not attached to anything.
Mm.
God's like, look up, look up. And if you look at people and you see not the chaos of everything going on, but if you're willing to look at the beauty, like you can't help but smile. You can't help but be reminded of who you are, to listen and to share. And I don't know, you said, we are performers, but before we're performers, we're creators.
Mm.
And because in order to perform, you have to be performing something, and that something is creation, right? And to go, okay, we were created. I believe that we were all created. So there's a creator who created us, and there's a creator in all of us. We are all creators. We are all artists. And to honor that, to go like, there are the most emotional, like high strung, like all over the place people on the planet are artists. They're musicians, they're painters, they're singers, they're dancers, they're actors. Like they're the ones that are known for being just dramatic and like all the things. And I was like, all that lives in people who are freely living in their artistry. And if you go and you look at mothers who are also create, literally women, they can create life, and you look at like architects and plumbers and landscapers and construction workers. These are all creators. And you look at the person and you go, oh, I bet there's just as much range of chaos in your life. And then, like any range of emotions in your life, and go, oh, I'm just a human. You're just a human. If I look at you, I see me. You hold a piece of me that I've forgotten. Thank you for reminding me. And then you go, oh my gosh, life is so simple. And when life is simple, it's like, okay, I can be happy. And it doesn't take that much. It just takes you looking up and realizing that you were not the center of the universe.
It's so true.
That thought always makes me go, oh, thank you.
Thank God. Seriously,
This has
all the heavy weight.
nothing to do do me.
Yes. No,
I found the quote.
True. Yes,
So
please
it's
share
a
it.
woman named Lisa Bevere. Not Beaver. Okay, sorry, Lisa, if you're watching this.
Sorry, Lisa.
Lisa B. And she said, if you think you've blown God's plan for your life, rest in this. You, my friend, are not that powerful.
That just like makes me melt everything off. It's like, yes, like we begin again. The pressure's not on us. It just, when I read that, I feel like I just like my shoulders dropped when I read that you posted that. It was just like, because it is so true. It isn't all about us. It's like you got to almost take yourself out of it. I mean, it sounds like, was what you were saying too. And I feel like that's why in a lot of like our industries, a lot of people get caught up in the celebrity and this and that. And like, trust me, I work with celebrities. I mean, as do you. And it's like, they're beautiful people, but I think that so many people take it to the wrong level of like in our industries in general of just, getting caught up in the wrong things instead of
Mhm.
taking yourself out of it and appreciating the beauty of what is going on and what it truly is in this moment. Does that make sense? I don't know. That
Yeah,
was just a
no,
random thought, but yeah.
it
That's
makes a
why
lot of
sometimes
sense.
I feel so removed sometimes. That's why I'm feeling out like, I definitely want to stay and make up and this and that, but sometimes it's like the more you keep going up, the more like it just keeps getting nastier and nastier. And that's why I'm kind of just like taking this quiet time to like really appreciate, the beauty and everything and just see the beauty in humans and see the beauty in the opportunity and gratitude and, taking myself out of it. Cause like I said, it's like it's just so many in any industry, people that take it too serious and are like, it's all about me. This is my life.
Well, Nicole, so as you go up, is it getting nastier? Or are you able just to see more? Right?
Ooh. Oh, wow. Yes. More to see more. Yes.
That's it. It's
You
what
just blew my
2020
mind.
for.
I was like,
It's you're just able to see more. And of course, when there's moments of chaos, that's where our focus goes.
yes.
But it's like, no, it's we can get up here and there may be one person in the room who is reflecting back to us all the things we don't like,
Yep.
and you're like,
Yep.
hmm, you're entitled and full of yourself. I know I can be entitled and full of myself too. I hate that attribute,
Yes.
like,
100%.
like, and it's like they're that chaos point. But if you look around, it's like, oh, not everything is ugly. I'm just able to see more because I have the privilege of being elevated. I have the privilege of working with celebrities. Also, celebrities are elevated people. They're still people, right?
People.
And
Yes.
that's something I think people have been saying for years. We're just like you. We're just people. It's like, but it's true. They're just
It's
elevated people.
yes.
And it's like they're not far from us. But like when we are elevated, we're just able to see it as it is. Uh and then you're like,
Devin.
okay, I choose where I look.
I love that. Oh my God. That makes so much like that literally like blew my mind. And I'm still processing that because that just like spoke to my soul. And I was like, I needed to hear that, because that makes so much more sense. Because like as a person who wants to see the beauty and everything, I mean, like there's gonna be times where things aren't perfect and beautiful and this and that. But I mean, we still have the choice to look for it. And like you said, we are able to see it and we're gonna decide where we choose to keep our focus on.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh, Devin, I'm like processing that.
You're so
Oh,
funny, Nicole. Oh,
seriously, I'm like, what? Would you see my face when you said that? I was like, that was
well, it's so
beautiful.
simple, right? It's
Yeah.
like it's just the most simple thing, but we have like we've trained ourselves since we were children to look at the things that are wrong, to fix the things that are wrong, to like focus on the fixing, especially servants. We see problems and we go, how can I serve? How can I? And then you see someone who's like in a spiral, and they're doing like their whole like I did a monkey dance. They're doing the
I
whole
love
monkey
it.
dance, and you're like, oh, okay, that's problematic. And you're like, how can we look at it, something bigger and go, if I stop looking at you
Yeah.
and I just look 1 millimeter over, that's beautiful.
Yes.
Like, that's beautiful. And if I'm in a room full of chaos and I hate it here, I'm able to go, this is not for me. It is
Mhm.
not my job to regulate this room.
Yes. There's only so much you could do.
Like,
I love that.
mhm,
I'm
mhm.
processing this all. My brain's like, what? I love all of this, Devin. This is like truly gold. And I can't thank you enough. Like everything that you're sharing is just so beautiful. And like I said, I did not know where this conversation was going to go. And like just to hear your story and everything that you're doing and just the way your impact on the world and the way you're helping others is just something that I am truly inspired by. And that's why I was like, I have to bring you on. I feel like I know you, even though we just talk in DMs and through memes and stuff. Like, guys, if you don't follow Devin, you have to follow him. His meme game is so strong. I literally am crying laughing every day, or I'm super inspired and living like my best life because of him. So seriously, I'm like, Devin, so
uh
amazing.
I don't know when I became a meme account. I just started. Well, actually, this is what I would remember. I would see all these memes, and I would always just laugh hysterically, and I would never share them ever. And it was like it's before quarantine. So quarantine is really what I've stepped into my meme world. But
Yeah.
I would never share them. And then one day I stopped and I was like, these are bringing me so much joy. Why am I not sharing it? And it's because I was carrying the weight of how I was being perceived. And I was like, oh no, I'm a professional actor. I'm a professional model. I have to be inspiring. I'm like, I have to be inspiring on my Instagram, and I have to be, and I'll be goofy when I do a video or when I do like, it's like, I can't share it. And I was like, get over yourself. And I was
Yes,
like,
I love
these
it.
are funny, share it. It's not that hard. And even in terms of like us connecting on social media, there's so many times that I've had people reach out to me that want to just talk to me, like not like talk like this, but like just interact. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I can't interact. So when I choose to talk to someone, you have to realize that like your followers are people, like they're not just like internet things that are like messaging
Robots.
you. Like
Yeah.
everyone, it has a soul and a heart and a brain and a mind and consciousness and a whole beautiful life inside of them. And who are we to go to their Instagram and go, oh, you have like 5 followers, I'm not going to talk to you, because you're not
Yeah.
significant. But to go, if that person was standing in the room in front of you, if you have 100 followers on Instagram and those 100 people are in your house, that's a lot of impact. That's
That
like,
is.
I'm gonna need y'all to get out of my house. Like, even like if you have 15 people who like your post, you go, that's 15 souls. That's 15 people who also have people that are pointing to them. That's 15 people who are listening to the words that you have to say. And if you have something that makes you laugh, then those 15 people will probably think it's funny. Those
Yeah.
15 people will be affected by it and will share it with their friends who will then, so to go, nothing is for nothing, and not everything's ugly because like, I know you created this podcast and in December you were probably like, I know if I was to create a podcast right now, I'd be like, who's going to listen to that? Like,
Literally me.
nobody,
I was like,
yeah,
literally what?
nobody cares, and then I
Yeah.
go, wait, that's not true. That's not true because I bet your husband will listen to it. I bet your best friend will listen to
My
at least
parents
one
have listened
episode.
to it, which I thought was really sweet because sometimes I'm like, you know what? Even if, well, before I started, one of my mentors told me, they said, the worst case scenario is you help someone. And I was like, that's why I'm doing it. Like, that's why I'm doing it. If it's just one person that watches it that like can benefit from this in some way, I'm like, that's all that matters. And that's why I like, even though I make it and I, put it on YouTube and this and that, I don't watch the numbers because I'm just like, I just want this to go out there and whoever needs to hear this can hear this. And, but like when my parents listened to it, stuff like that, I was like, that's really sweet just because I don't know, it's cool to like have people in your family see like a different side of you in a different way, if that makes sense. But
And they're listening and growing.
yes, that's the
It's
biggest
like,
thing for me. I was like, they're seeing different perspectives with different range of people that they probably would have never met. And that's why, I brought on people because I said like, who am I going to even start with? And that's how the guest came about. It was just people who inspire me. It wasn't going to be like, who can I get that'll just speak to everyone? And it was like, no, let's start with like people who inspire me and just someone that like, that lights a spark in me, that I can maybe share with the world that maybe they wouldn't be able to see your platform or Angela's platform. I mean, obviously, but they already know all of your platforms, but it's just so crazy, just to like introduce people to different perspectives and a range and just see where it leads. And that's why I said like the guest lineup is just so crazy because I had an idea for the December one, but it just kind of like let God speak to me. And like, if I reach out. And if they get back to me, I'm like, and so I was so appreciative that you got back to me on DMs because I know you probably get like a million DMs a day. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you responded back. And I was blown away and grateful.
listen, I don't message anyone back. Like I literally,
Really?
I wish I could be on here and be like, oh no, of course. Like, of course I got back to you. No. I literally, I have how many messages right now? I have 328 unread messages.
Oh my gosh.
I have like I don't call people back. I don't text people back. I don't it's
I feel
like
so honored.
I get so overwhelmed. And
I
then,
would
but I'm
too.
also the guy on Instagram who's like posting every and they're like, I know you're on your phone. And I was like, yeah, this is me time.
Yeah,
Like,
this is like, you're doing your thing. Just this is for you to enjoy. This is the little snack you get.
it's literally just, I'm like, this is, you're welcome. That's your meme.
Yeah.
Go look at
Yeah.
that, laugh at that, message me, and I will probably like your thing back. But
Yeah.
it's so interesting. I started this conversation probably a few months ago where I have a mentor as well. My mentor was like, you should really start being on podcasts. And I was like, I don't have anything to, I was like, what am I going to say? And he's like, believe me, Devin, you have things to say.
Yes.
And I was like, okay. And so like, I know we message because you respond to my memes and I
Yes.
like,
Always.
and I love, because surprisingly, people don't respond to my memes. Like there's like, when I
What?
say like 15 people, you were one of the 15 that like, but get this, if I don't post memes for like 3 days, an army of people will be out, be like, are you okay? Like,
Oh my gosh. What happened? Are you
yeah,
okay? Where are the
I look
memes?
at
Are
your
you
memes
okay?
every day. I go to your Instagram specifically, and I'm like, where are you? Like,
Oh my gosh.
and so that reminded me that people, you say you don't look at the numbers, and it's like people may not be engaging,
Yeah.
liking, or like sharing, but they're watching and they're listening,
Yeah.
and they're going and they're laughing and they're absorbing and they're experiencing. And if you look at the numbers, they're not numbers, they're people. Like
Mm.
like those are people, and that's the thing that I've really been like rocking my world recently, is to go, it is not about numbers. These are souls. These are human beings that like are being influenced, that if by me speaking, by me posting a meme, by like who have taken the time out of their day. Time is the most precious thing. We are never going to get time back. And they're choosing to acknowledge something that I have created or shared. And I'm like, how dare I think I am so big that I can go, 5 people, good. Nobody liked it. That's not true. Like, 5 people, real life people liked it.
Yes.
I mean, I've been getting paid for that, but it's like, those are human beings. Like,
I
what?
love that. That's such
What?
a great perspective, because I mean, we get so caught up in like likes and this and that. I mean, yeah, it's hard not to. I mean, Instagram is a great tool, but it is a little, it does kind of, I feel like a lot of us are learning that it doesn't reflect our value and this and that. But like, I never thought of it as a perspective of that these are souls, these are people, whether it's one person, whether it's 50,000 people liking it, each and every single person took the time, and acknowledging that, I think, is just huge, because I think that, I don't know, I don't know what we're even doing on Instagram anymore. It's like, putting stuff up for all these likes, for these followers. But yeah, it's like, if you take time to really appreciate who these people are, and it's not just about numbers, it's about people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
It's
for
deeper
example, you,
than that.
you respond to so many of my memes, and I could like, and it's so easy for me to go, Nicole makeup. What is that
Yeah.
it?
Nicole
Oh,
makeup. Yeah.
yeah. So just like, it's so easy for me to go, oh, it's Nicole makeup, like, oh,
Yeah.
Nicole makeup responded to me. But I go, Nicole, that's Nicole. Like, like
Oh my
Nicole is
gosh.
talking to me. And every time she speaks to me, I am now validated. I'm now acknowledged. I'm like, oh, she's taking the time to like not just laugh at her screen and move on, but go, hey, I really like that. Hey, thank
Yeah.
you for that. This is so
Seriously.
good.
Because I know
And
it
so
takes time to repost it and like actually do it, and just, and I appreciate that.
when you reached out about the podcast, I was like, oh, Nicole's doing a podcast. Yeah, sure. I have nothing to lose. And if
There's your
10 people
opportunity.
watch it, if it gets 10 views, if it's one person who's watched it 10 times, like
Seriously.
that person is, if it's just me, have watched it 10 times.
And
I'm
I watch
learning.
it 10 times. Yeah, because we'll get
That's the
something else
same.
out of the conversation that we didn't even pick up on.
Yes, yes, yes. Nothing is for nothing,
Mhm.
and if especially this was it charges me to hear you go like, this wasn't me. I didn't want to do a podcast.
Nope.
It was God breathed. Like, God was like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. And I was like, fine.
Literally. Literally. And I was like, okay. And I like wrote it all down, and literally boom, boom, boom. Everyone said yes. And I was like, oh God, I gotta do this. Now I
Oh
gotta
no,
do
they said
this.
yes.
Oh God, everyone said yes. Now I gotta do this. Like literally, it all happened like that, because I, like, real quick, is that I did started in March, right when the pandemic happened. And then it just didn't feel right. It was just like, because we were all still figuring out the pandemic, and it's like, it all came to me, like, I guess, like right before Thanksgiving. And it was like, do this in December before the new year. because everyone just really needs this like pick me up. We don't know, like it's been a whole like I don't know however long, March to December, and it just I don't know, something in me was like do it. So I literally asked one person and she said yes. So that green light gave me this like I asked six more people. I shot all the interviews. My one friend did help me in edit a little bit. Now I edit on my own. Where I'm very proud of myself for learning that skill. And yeah, I built a website and I sat down. I was like, let me just mess around. 3 hours later, I had the website. It was just so crazy how God was just like, someone was like, who did you hire for your website? And I was like, I did it. And they were like, what? So I learned so much about myself of like, if you just take the limits off yourself and just put it in God's hands and see like, oh, I don't know much about Zoom. I don't know much about editing. I don't know much about, building websites. And it was just like beautiful what came from it. And I could have never expected any of it. And that's why I just feel like it fuels my soul when I look back at it, because it's a mirror reflecting onto me. Because by the end of December, I felt like after watching all of these, I was learning so much about myself and viewing myself differently and holding myself accountable. So I was like, okay, God, okay,
Yeah.
God, I see you.
And what's so cool in what you just told me is that you remove judgment.
Yes. Try
It's
to.
like,
I always say I'm taking myself out of it. Like, look, I would never show up in a t-shirt, but today I was like, you know what? This isn't about me. My hair looks good. I'm actually wearing a Waco t-shirt, which is hilarious because you're from Texas, which is, I'm like, what the heck? I don't know. But I really do try to remove myself. Anytime I'm like caught up in like, oh God, I hope I say things, or I hope I, sound and speak, with inspiration. But, and like as a performer, I'm usually like very like, but now I'm learning to just have conversation and show up as myself and just kind of like let the guest who I bring on shine. That's like my only goal, is to take myself out of it. I'm not even here. I'm just collaborating with God.
well, you are here though. Like you're not just you are here, and it's so you can't have I could probably talk to a wall, but I was like, you can't have a conversation with a wall, right? And everything that is being created by the two of us right now isn't like, that's what I love so much about your email that you sent me. It was just like, hey, I may have some talking points I'm thinking about, but like it's just gonna be a conversation. Whatever happens, happens. I was like, thank you. I don't have to
Okay, I
prep
wasn't
for
sure if that
this.
was going to stress you out, because I was like, some people like to see the questions, and I was like, I just honestly had like a few things about like your journey and your background a little bit, and that was it. But I was like, I want you to shine. I want to hear what you have to say today that is in your moment that you want to share,
Yeah, and it's being created. And sometimes we could have gotten on this call and it could have been crickets, right?
Oh,
And we were like,
100%.
and we were like, okay, well, we'll never see that interview. Like
Yeah.
it's fine. Like I'm fine. But it's not gonna happen because you're a whole human being who is completely interesting and like has her whole unique perspective. And I'm my whole human being who has my unique perspective. And we're living in this unprecedented time, like with all these like visible divides.
Yes.
The divides have always been there, but we're now seeing them for what they are.
Yeah.
And like what I love about this podcast is that it felt so geared towards joy, like an upright, like it felt so geared towards celebration and like the freedom of the expression of the human soul,
Yes.
and I was like, yeah, like I love that. Like that's my soul mission. Just to like get underneath people who feel like they're on the ground and just, hey, pick up your eyes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, when our head's buried in the sand, it's dark and it's scary and it's rocky down there. But if you just pick up your head, you'll see that you're being elevated. Like, and as you're elevated, you go, oh, this isn't about me. Like, this isn't about me. And the more we can go, this isn't about me, the less we're sad. The more we go, this isn't about me, the less we're judgment. Like we're full of judgment. The more, this isn't about me. This isn't about me. This isn't about me. Yeah, they may be saying my name, but it's not about me. Yeah, this person may have all this drama with me and beef about, that's not about me. Like, that is about them and their human experience. And if I've done anything to wrong them, I will learn. I will take radical responsibility, 100% of the 100% like that I am responsible for, even if that 100% is 1%, like I will take 100% of my 1% of that chaos. And I will say, I'm sorry. And I will learn. And especially during these times of like separation and like all the racial issues that are visible now, and all the things that are divisive, and people, I know a lot of people feel silenced, and a lot of people feel like, oh, because they are a certain type, they're not allowed to express, or because they believe certain things that are now being persecuted, that they can't, you know, I don't know, as a Christian and being from Texas, so many of my family members are having bigger conversations being like, I'm biracial, I'm white and black, and the white side of my family's like, their beliefs are being like impacted very, very intensely, and they're like, well, this is our history and this is da 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 da. And for me, it's been so cool to look at them and go, hi. You know, it's like, I am your legacy, you know, and as someone who is half black, I know what it's like to have this experience in America, being raised by you, you know, and I know you're not a racist. I know these things. This is what a microaggression is. Like, this is what my experience has been, learning about myself and in this part of the world. These things are real. If this is a statue that is a symbol of hate for so many people, for you, it's history. Were you interacting with that statue before? Did you care about that statue at all before this moment? Then why does it matter?
Seriously. And I
Take it
think
down.
that's such a
Like,
beautiful like position to be in, to have those conversations and to like almost, I don't want to say educate, because sometimes people are like, okay, because that's like, you know, people are like education, they think like, you know, you're someone knows more than someone else. Yeah, like,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I just think that's such a beautiful position for you to be in, you know, to be able to shine light in different areas of people and different perspectives as well. And like as a living human being who's dealing with these things, you know, and as a son, you know, I think that that's something special, because a lot of people are seeing it from other sides, people that from strangers that they don't understand, and to have that firsthand experience within your family, I think says a lot.
I think that's the beautiful thing, is we have to be aware of what we, back to the potluck. We have to be aware of what we're bringing to the potluck, you know, of what we're taking to our family. And it's so easy, especially when you're like, I know my dad, and my dad is so bullheaded and he's so stubborn, he doesn't listen to anybody, and his way or the highway. You know, my dad's not like that. But like, you know, to go and like pass so much judgment on a person, they are fixed into a box, and to go,
Yeah.
if that person's doing the exact same thing for me, like, that'll never be had. Like, this conversations will never be had. But I know what I'm serving. And if I go, hey, are you hungry? Like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, here's just a different perspective. And as someone, the interesting, okay, I just go into the conversation, but the interesting thing about being biracial is I had a lot of like internal conflict back last May, you know, when everything was happening. I was raised by my grandma, who is white, in East Texas, which is very densely like, it's not just white, it is a very specific style and like type. It is Southern, and it is rich in culture that is like and I think a lot of it's beautiful, you know, that is so deep but fixated on one thing, you know.
Yeah.
and And so, but also knowing that my experience as a person of color, because I am also black, you know, is different than what, even though they raised me, they believe I lived. And so a lot of biracial people um felt literally trapped in the middle of this crevice. Like, we don't really belong to like one side or the other side, because we are our own unique individual experience.
Yeah.
And black people cannot relate to us, and white people cannot relate to us. And so it was interesting for me to not feel like I had to bandwagon and go, oh, all the focus is over here on black issues, let me run over here. Oh, all the focus is here, I'm now getting all this privilege because of colorism, and I'm light skinned and I'm cute but non-threatening, you know, like, oh, I'll be whiter today, you know, and to bandwagon, because that's where a lot of biracial people feel like, what, well, that's what we get to do. We get to be like, oh, I'm black today, oh, I'm whiter today, you know, and to go, oh no, I am my own thing. I am my own lane. And yes, because I am a person of color, I've experienced all of these things. And yes, because I am half white, I have also benefited from privilege. And privilege is not a bad thing. Like, and that's the thing that I learned the most about the past year, is that privilege is not a bad thing. So people, as they experience their privilege and acknowledge their privilege, don't need to apologize for their privilege. They need to use like they need to use it. And to go, as a kid, I remember like doing all these chores and working so hard to gain privileges, you know? And then you go, oh, I worked so hard for this. I have inherited these privileges. Now, with my privilege, I get to use this platform, and something that I'm moving into learning more about and speaking about in me, learning about myself, which is a conversation we had earlier, and really celebrating myself, is to go, instead of like, imagine you tear a map, like,
Yeah.
in map being like the world's races, you just rip them up, and there are black people on the side, white people on the side, and we're trying to fit these pieces together, right? As someone who's biracial, I've always felt like I fell in between the cracks. And then for me to take full responsibility and realize that maybe I'm not in the crack, but maybe I'm the bridge. You know,
Oh,
maybe I'm the speaking point to go, hey, I know that you, as Nicole, as a white woman, can never relate to the experience of a black person in America. I know that this black person in America, having never been a white woman in America, can never relate to your experience as a blonde white woman in America, you know, like
yeah.
it never. But as someone who is in the middle, I can go, I can hold your hand and I can hold your hand and I can go, hey, we're connected. Like, we're connected. And how are we connected? We're connected by me, right?
Yes.
And so, really taking radical responsibility for myself and my purpose in that, and to go, okay, the thing I've learned the most in quarantine is that I am just as much not white as I just as much not black. And I am just as much white as I am just as much black. And that makes me my own unique individual. And full circle back to our first conversation, when entering into an industry where you feel like things are set out to change you, to shift you, to force you into becoming this picturesque thing, it is now our responsibility in 2021 to see ourselves as we are, to get to know ourselves as intricately and in the fullness of what we were created to be, to take responsibility for us in all of our purity, you know, like in the pureness of who we were created to be, and to go, if I don't know me, then they can never know me. And if
Mm.
they never know me, then they can never show me what I get to be in their world. And so it is now our responsibilities to know ourselves so much that we can show up in boldness and freedom and love and joy, in compassion, in firmness, and go, this is who I am. Learn about me, and I will learn about you. And we will mend this map together. And I have been so blessed to get to this point in time. And I'm like, thank you, quarantine, for that.
Yeah.
Thank you, quarantine, for giving me that. And so,
That is like beyond beautiful. I mean, just to have that perspective, to take the, initiative to really look past, because it's so hard. We all get caught up on the division and this and that. And we feel like we can't make a big change with, but we really can if we use our platforms and our voices. And I think it's so beautiful because I mean, I haven't heard anything like that where you can be the gap, where you can be the bridge, because that is the best of both worlds. Who's going to just say, learn about me, I'll learn about you, and we'll learn about ourselves, and we can come together and just continue to move forward instead of looking at the divisions and saying, where do we begin? Do we jump? Do we like go for this? Like, and I think that is, I'm processing it. I'm like literally rambling because I just think that's such a beautiful perspective, Devin. Seriously. And we need you more than ever, and your voice and your light and who you are as a person. And, and to have the bravery that you do to say, I'm going to make radical changes to make sure I can help bridge this gap with what my experience is from either side.
it's definitely been an interesting place to find. And I like, but that is the gift of all of us, right?
Yes.
It's like, I'm not special in my experience. There are hundreds of millions of mixed people all over the planet that aren't just white and black, that are Taiwanese and
Yes.
black, that are, all sorts of different mixes that I'm learning that I was like, if people felt as lost as I did when it comes to identity, racial identity, I was like, I can't be the only one that feels like I'm lodged in a crevice here. Like, because and I learned that by watching like my white friends, one of my best friends in the whole wide world. He is green-eyed, blonde hair, like just white, classic all-American white guy. And watching him, the looks of powerlessness on his face as like this whole thing happened, and him being like, I'm afraid if I move, I'm gonna misstep. And then like I will offend and hurt and like and seeing like kind of like I don't want to call it white fragility, but seeing
Yeah.
like him process and really not know like what to do. And so he's like, I'll just stand here and learn and ask questions when appropriate, which I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's a great thing for you to do right now as this
Yeah.
straight white male in America. And then to look on the other side and see like my black friends really being like, I'm not in the place to educate people because of all this ancestral trauma that is coming up in my life right now that I've just learned to suppress my whole life. And now like I'm feeling all these emotions like anger. I'm coming to the realizations that I was oppressed, not just
Yeah.
like these have been subconscious dealings because I've just been okay with it. And and now I'm having all these mixed emotions. I'm seeing all these things, these conversations are happening. And now all the people I'm friends with that are white are asking me about a history that I don't know, because I was not taught my own history. So I'm having to learn the same way you are. And so watching those identity crises happening on both sides, I'm like, okay, what you need to do, my white friend, is to go in.
Mhm.
What you need to do, my black friend, is to go in.
Mhm.
What you need to do, my Asian friend, who are also dealing with so much hate and racism and like, it's, I mean, you have to go in. Like, I have a Native American friend who, during the pandemic, her family made this and sent it to me,
Yeah.
and so I was like, she had to go in, and it's like, if we all go in, not to retreat, but to learn about ourselves, when we come out, we know who we are. And we go, hey, Nicole, wow, you were so beautiful in the ownership of you. Like,
Yeah.
you were so beautiful in the ownership of you. I respect you.
Yeah.
And I want to learn about your experience. And you get to go, wow, you were so beautiful in the ownership of you.
Yeah.
I now want to respect you and learn about you. And then I, as someone who's in the middle, get to go, oh, I'm so beautiful in the ownership of me.
Yes.
Like, I get to now learn and grow together. And yes, there are so many. We are standing on a broken map. This thing has been
Yeah.
torn to shreds. Nobody knows where their feet should be placed right now.
Mm-mm.
Like, and for a while, we're all probably going to be like, But the best thing we can do is learn about ourselves so that when we listen, we're not just throwing useless information on top of a pile of rubble, but we're going, oh, I can absorb that. In my life, I've actually experienced this, which now I know. Like, I remember I had a conversation with my grandma, um, because I came out to her, and she and I was a very like big like identity like thing for me. I was like dealing with my faith, and then also like attraction and all these things. It was literally, I was gonna explode. And
Yeah.
she was the first person I went to, and I was talking to her, and I was like, for a long time, the thing that backed my identity was also the thing that was causing me to hate myself the most. And it was this really hard thing to go, God loves everyone, but for some reason I feel like I am like, I hate myself, like, because this is not something that has been removed. It's not something I've even been acting on. It's just been like poison it. And I was looking at it like it was so ugly, and I was like, of course, if you're like looking at a part of yourself like it's hideous, you will only ever see that it's ugly and dangerous. And I was talking to her, and she is someone who is a Bible belt. Well, she is she raised me firm, and and she looked at me and wiped away my tears and goes, baby, she's like, I may not understand what it's like, um, to know what you're feeling. She's like, but I have been the big girl my entire life. She's like, and I've tried my entire life to change that. And she's like, and I've hated myself because of something I couldn't change. And she goes, don't hate yourself, like because of this thing you can't change. And I learned so much in that moment to go, to go, like, you cannot relate to my experience because you've never lived my experience. But instead, and I know everything that you believe because I've been taught what you believe, you
Yeah.
know? And to go, you, as my beautiful grandma, like, instead of being like, this is wrong, this is hateful, you were able to go, oh, you're hurting because of something that you feel like you can't change. I know what it's like to hurt because of something I can't change. I love you. Don't hate yourself because of something you can't change. And and I was like, I'm sobbing. I'm almost crying right now,
I'm
honestly.
crying right now. Like, oh my gosh, Devin,
I'm
so
almost crying right
amazing.
now. And and to have that conversation with her, and then to see all these race issues and things going on and go, man, if the world just had a little bit of Momo, that's my grandma. If the world just
Oh,
went like, I know what I believe, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter when it comes to what you believe. Like, but because I can see that you're hurting. Like, and if I can see that you're hurting, I know what it's like to be hurt. Hey, let's get out of the hurt together, you know? And and so that's I was like, oh, but we first have to go. I hear you because I know me, I know what that feels like.
yes.
It's not up to me to tell you you're right or wrong. That's irrelevant. But it is up to me because I love people and I'm a servant of people to go, okay, how can we get to the healing together?
Yes.
And and I love that. So
I
thank you
love
for
that
letting
so
me
much.
share all that.
I
Thank you.
thank you for sharing that. That is such like I'm processing on all. It's such a beautiful moment and it's just such a beautiful place to see this, growth and stepping into just like your power of who you are. And I don't know. I'm just like so emotional from that. That's so beautiful. And yeah, I don't know. I have no words because it's nice to hear people speak like that. And that was what I was gonna say, is that I feel like so many of us have just been on autopilot. So to have these feelings come up where we, have to learn about ourselves so that we can truly understand others, is just
Mhm.
I think a little scary for a lot of people because no one really wants to know what's deep down. We've all been so like go go go, hustle hustle hustle, on to the next one. What's next? What's this? What's on Netflix? What's that? What am I eating while I'm on my computer? Like it's just all been very autopilot. So I think that this is a very special time in our lives where we all need to learn, like you said, to go inward to understand ourselves more so we can show up for others and allow them to show up 100% as themselves as well and appreciate
Mhm.
them and respect them and understand them. And then, like you said, join together to move in a way of healing.
And Nicole, I would ask you a question.
Yeah.
Um, how do you learn about yourself? Like if I was to go, because it is easy, it's scary, it's terrifying to go in, but how would you start? Now I'm the host. I'm the host
I
of this
love it.
podcast.
Devin, welcome. You can be the host now. I love it. I love it. We
um,
should double host this.
yeah, how would you start to learn about yourself?
Hmm. Well, I feel like I'm still in the process of it right now. So, I mean, I'm learning that there's different aspects that I can tap into to help myself learn about myself. I know that, when in the morning, I start my morning routine with, it changes every day because that's the one thing I've been talking to a lot of my friends this morning routine, and it's something that's always been set. But I think to give yourself the freedom to have the space to shift it because what worked for you yesterday might not work for you today. And I think just, having the grace to see what you need that day to fill your cup. So, I mean, I love to meditate, pray, and just get some kind of like movement in the morning. And that's how I get to know myself because sometimes if I don't get movement in and I don't push myself a little bit, I feel like I don't know what strength I have, if that makes sense, inside of me, like
Mhm.
to push through stuff. And like I said, like I like to do that early in the morning so that I can just kind of be like, yeah, did that. I feel good, and just the power of movement also with, your whole mental health. And I just can't stress it enough of just moving your body and just really reconnecting with yourself. But I mean, it's such a it's a loaded question because I mean, like I said, I'm still learning so much about who I am, but I think just learning different things. Like, I mean, I graduated with my CPT from NASA, and I think that that taught me a whole another side of myself that I didn't know I had, and the passions, and just to know more about how our body works, and then yoga. It's just exploring something completely different that I've always wanted to do, but I just never jumped in. And I said, when else is there going to be a time for this? I think that's another thing, is taking the time to see what is important to you, what are your passion, what lights you up, what excites you, and that's not on autopilot, that you've like been in your comfort zone for so long. And it, trust me, I'm a makeup artist, that's what I do. But like, look, a year from now, if you would have told me that I'm hosting, yeah, Get Uplifted, and I'm in yoga teacher training school, and I have my CPT, and I'm talking to you, I mean, it's just like, I don't know, that there's just so many different outlets. And yeah, I think just kind of exploring and getting out of your comfort zone, I think really shows you like what lights you up and who you are.
Yeah, I could not agree more, because that's what I was gonna say. I was like, I think it's by putting yourself out there.
Yes.
Like, you find out like what you believe by talking about it, by telling, by being not fearless, but having less fear in conversations, and going, ooh, I believe in God, period.
Yeah.
And then like them going, okay, well, I believe in the universe. And then you go, cool. What do you, and it's just a conversation. And you go, oh, now I know what I believe versus basing my beliefs on what you believe.
Exactly. No, it's so true.
Yeah.
And like it just shines a light onto like you developing a little bit more about what you believe in and understanding. The more you talk about it, you're like, oh, I didn't know I felt this way. Or like, you know what I mean? And yeah, you surprise yourself, and you give yourself the opportunity to surprise yourself. Because if you just keep everything to yourself, like we said, autopilot, doing the same thing in and out every single day, you're never gonna experience what is truly inside of you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Come
Ooh,
on, Nicole.
like Devin,
Yes.
we need to be like co-hosting this. I'm like, we need to have more of this. This is not just a one episode. I'm gonna need more Devin. Part 2, 3, 4,
I was
5,
like,
and
how
6.
long have we been talking?
I don't even know. Oh my god. Well, it's only been an hour and a half, but that's all good. And
Uh,
I'm like, I appreciate this though so much. I feel like I could talk to you like all day. And I just I'm just so grateful that, our paths crossed, and, I was introduced to you on Instagram during the pandemic. And I'm just so grateful because you showing up 100% as yourself allowed me to show up 100% as myself. And that's why I really wanted to bring you on, because you're just a true light and an inspiration, and doing so much amazing things for this world. And I just want everyone to like know you, see this beautiful light that I'm so grateful to be chatting with you right now. And yeah, where can people find you? What is like the best way for people to see all of your
you can
work and what you're up to and all of your amazing memes?
you can find me at home. And and no, that
Here.
was my no. No, right here. No, I'm on Instagram. So at the Devin Way, TheDevinWay. And I just want to preference, it's not the Devin Way, it's like the Devin Way. Like, you do your life, you live your life the Devin way.
The Devin
The
way. I like
Yeah,
that.
the Nicole way. The like, everyone
Yeah.
has a way of doing things. So I just do mine the Devin way. And also my last name's Way. That's
So
basically the
cool.
only place where I am.
Love it.
Right now.
Yes.
It's on Instagram. I do have a TikTok, but don't go there. That's the dark web.
I want to go check out your TikTok now that I know this. I'm like, I'm gonna go check out that TikTok.
But
I
yeah,
love it.
that's me. And I mean, it's been such a privilege, honestly, to get to know. I can call you my friend now.
Yes,
And
100%.
I'm
And
so
if there's
grateful.
any way I can support you, I'm like, I feel like we're definitely gonna be chatting more. And like, I don't know, this is just the start of a beautiful friendship that I'm so grateful that, to our paths have crossed, and that you had taken the time and shared your energy with us. This is like so amazing, and I can't thank you enough.
Well, thank you for creating a space for this to happen. I mean, it started with you, period.
Thank
And
you.
it started with your yes. And yeah,
Yes,
just
yes.
plan it down. You said yes, no, yes.
Ooh, okay, no, yes, okay, it's happening. Oh, Devin said yes. Okay, it's happening. Okay.
Even
I was
okay
so
is a
happy.
yes.
I
It doesn't
know.
have to be a yes. It can be a, we're easing into honesty. It's
Totally. I love
sure.
that. I love
Like,
that. Yes.
it can be that,
I
and
love
because
that.
you're doing it. And yeah, so thank you. I'm so happy to be
Thank
here.
you. I'm so grateful that you said yes, and I can't wait to see more of what's to come, the Devin way. And yeah, I'm just so grateful, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon. So
Yeah,
thank
I
you
can't
so
wait.
much. I appreciate you.